Let's get ready, y'all. Time for another ESC United jury or ESC United panel review. And we're doing this all year. It's been this all week thing for the 22 season where we review the songs, talk about them, share our score, and then look at the overall team score. I got Roy, James, and Sean here with me. They're going to help me out or do their own thing, whatever they want to do. But we're going to move on to the next country on our list, which is Estonia. And Estonia, we all know, has Eesti Laul, the national final, which is always, at least according to many Eurovision fans, a fan favorite anyways. And the question is, did they make the right decision? They are sending Stefan, who has taken part, I think, about 25 times in Eesti Laul over the past 10 years. And he was close almost every single time, but this time it worked out. And he is sending hope. Now let's talk this through. Did they make the right call? Do we like it? Roy.
Well, did they make the right call? I think yes, but also my favorite of this entire Eurovision season was in the same selection with what to make of this. So, yeah, would have preferred that, but I know that would have probably been very polarizing and not done as well, perhaps. I think that this is definitely a solid choice for Estonia. It is not reinventing the wheel. We've seen a song like this before. We've seen like this kind of song a little bit from Estonia as well. With Storm, it's kind of a little bit similar, where I think a lot of people are not necessarily looking at it, but that it will probably be decent enough when people see it for the first time to go to the final. It did grow off me slightly after we made the scores, but I think you really need to look at this from a first initial reaction. Will people like it? And I think there will be a lot of people that will watch at home and see this performance and hear the song and be like, yeah, this is nice. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Avicii, perhaps, when he had like a track or two that were in the same kind of vein. Yeah, I think Estonia made a decent choice here, and I think they'll do quite well in the competition.
Yeah, I think you nailed it on this one. It's fun. I'm a bit skeptic here because this whole, Wild Wild West thing is a bit gimmicky to me. This whole pew pew pew, right? And it always not my thing. And it seems to me clearly, from what I've seen in the past, it's not really a Stefan style on top of it. Although I'm okay with artists experimenting in different genres and all that stuff. But just going down the cowboy route, it seems a little forced to me at the same time, even though I find that part distracting. His voice actually works quite well with that style. So at the same time, even though I find it a little confusing, I can see where this is coming together and he feels comfortable singing the song. To me, the song, doesn't move mountains. As you said, we've heard it before. It make me also doesn't like run away screaming either. So it's right there in the middle for me. And despite my criticism, as pointed out, his voice, I think, really shines in the song. I think he really found something good. That's a big plus. But yeah, it's sing-along material, though. That's, I think, its biggest strength, because you just want to sing along, right? I hope. I'm singing the Smurfs theme song. No, it's like something like that. Sorry, but it's a powerful weapon at the contest, having a sing-along material. I think it can actually go pretty far, despite where I'm just kind of more like in the okay zone. I can look past it and saying, yeah, this has qualities, but this is my personal ranking. So for me, it's like right there in the middle. James.
All right. Well, if the EBU ever had a border guard, and they needed me to do it, one of the first things I'd ban is the use of country western in a European song. Doubly so if it's written by a Swede. By God, the Swedes can't do country and European pop to save their life. Cotton Eye Joe by Rednecks being the number one example. And I'd add Stefan's song to this mix. Like Matt, I find this country Scandi pop blend to be rather silly. This kind of stop it. That being said, I can see why they picked Stefan for Eesti Laul. He is certainly the housewives select choice for this one. Sort of a ridiculously handsome man, nicely toned, and I think it triggers the imaginations of the Estonian housewives and aunties there. So I think he'll get a lot of votes from that. But overall, I find it just a touch frivolous and silly. And yeah, we've heard this before, and Stefan is no hero of our time.
Hero of our time, Sean.
Oh, James, tell us what you really think. Go on.
I know.
Yeah, I mean, we can do the sort of lazy comparisons. His heroes, David Guetta, Lovers on the Sun, Victor Kronstorm. But I think it stands up in its own right as, this is a decent example of that type of genre. I would never have thought Estonia would have sent a song like this, but here we are. Everything's sort of topsy-turvy in 2022. Left is right, up is down, and the sky is grey normally in this country at least. So I think it sort of surprised me the first time I heard his voice, because his voice seemed to change completely in tone from when I've heard from him in recent years. So sort of took a shock from me. Maybe he's taken a step back and decided, this is the artist I want to be now. So it's obviously worked for him. He's got through to Eurovision. It's a grower, certainly a grower. It's still not 100% there in terms of quality for me. The stronger songs for me this year, but for definite. But people are going to like this. It's a sing along, as you say. The only thing I would say that's not been brought up is that the staging in the national final was laughable. Like the fact that they actually had like a sort of cowboy and a sheriff doing that, way too literal. It almost sort of straying into farce in terms of the countryside of things. So if they can rein that in a little bit and just make it a little bit more subtle, a different staging in Turin wouldn't go amiss. But pretty solid entry from Estonia.
It's really funny that you point that out with the literal part, because I did a reaction video to the original studio versions, and I said during that song, please don't make it a literal thing. Don't put cowboys there doing a duel. And then they're like, we got bad news for you. When it came out,
it just looks pathetic. Really, it really does. They need to change that. But yeah, that's the major criticism.
Yeah. But those are our thoughts. And here are our scores. So let's find out. Roy, what did you give it?
Yeah, I was debating on this one quite a while. I was like jumping between either a 7 or a 7.5. It's a decent entry. I think Estonia will do well with it, and in the end, I decided to give them the benefit of the doubt and give them a 7.5.
Oh wow, that's pretty nice. So I hope that no pun intended. I wasn't. I hope people understand where I'm coming from when I say my criticism, and I'm not just going to downgrade because I have some issues with some gimmicky, because I'm trying to be fair, and it's still a good sing-along song. I'm not quite as kind as Roy, but I'm still giving it a 6.5. So that is my score. James.
All right, it sounds like I'm dogging on this a little too much, and I am, but I still got to be fair, and I have to recognize that yes, this song does have merits. It is catchy, and I'll slap myself on the hand if I find myself humming along to it. And yeah, Stefan does have charisma, even if this is all unforgivably silly. So that's why I'm giving it a 5.
5. Okay. Sean.
For once, I actually find myself a little bit in line with Matt in terms of score for a change. I gave this a 6, which is, solid for me this year. It's sort of slightly above average for me. Not quite interesting enough or intriguing to me to push higher than that, but certainly, it's there. There's no major fault I can find with it. It's just not really, pushing all the buttons for me.
Okay, well, there you have it. And now we combine our 4 scores with the rest of the team. And so it'll be more than just our thoughts here, and give you Team United's overall score for Estonia. I don't have any drums, so I'm just going to tell you it's 6.68. So I think we had a few videos where our rankings did not really match with what the team thought. Here, I think we're pretty spot on. You feel good about this, Roy?
Yeah, I think this is quite fair. Like it's a solid song. It's not necessarily gonna it's not reinventing the wheel. So people are not gonna give it like a 10 or a 9 or a 9.5, and people are not really gonna hate on it either. Like look at James, he gave it a 5, and he's not really feeling the song. So yeah, I think it's a fair judgment.
Estonia also has this thing, not all the time, but frequently, where they send songs that are often just panned to a certain extent and then do fairly well, at least qualification. Like I remember Storm being ripped apart or like ignored, and then it did quite well. And I could see something similar happening here with Hope as well. I have it as a pretty a likely qualifier at this point, and because there is a market for that out there, because similar to other songs, its simplicity, I think, can be actually charming and helpful. And I think this is what happened here. More people, I think the team overall felt the same way. It's just not a hateable song, and therefore gets a good score of 6.68. That doesn't mean necessarily they're going to be high up in our ranking overall. Maybe it will be. I'll show you the overall scoreboard right now. Take a look. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you agree or no at the very end of this video? And then, of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section because we need to know. We need to know. All right. Thanks for watching. We'll be back in just a moment.